Global happenings today. We communicate. We analyze global news.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our channel. Yes, as we speak right now, at the Rivers, women are being empowered, and there seems to be joy and jubilation going on in Rivers State. I'm talking about all women that you can think of for the works of love that could make it down there are being empowered. Something similar happened. This is more suspension, of which instead of Fubara's wife to represent, it was Ibasite's wife that represented. A lot of outcry then, but right now there's joy in the land. But there's something I need you to focus. Now, you're going to see videos and pictures of the women that came in. Empowerment was truly good, and of course, this is powered very quickly before we go into the newspaper. This is powered by Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who happens to be the first lady, the wife of the sitting president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And of course, the host or the hostess in this case is the wife of Fubara, who happens to be the first lady of Rivers State Governor. That's Valerie Fubara. Similarly, Fubara, that's actually handling the case. But there's something you need to notice. You will notice right sitting beside her there is actually Peter Odili's wife. I'm talking about the retired Supreme Court judge. I'm talking about Mary Odili. Now, if you have been following the politics of Rivers State, you will understand why her face is very prominent. Don't forget that last week, Fubara himself was seen with the group of political tree of wike. Now, from what we have seen thus far, please follow me. For what we have seen thus far, wherever Peter Odili is, wike is not there. There seem to be, technically speaking, 3 political trees, standing in River State, and each of those trees are standing separately. They are not internetworked. The only person that seems to be serving at least 2 members of this tree, though they are not internetworked, is actually Fubara. Now, these 3 political trees still remains. Wike's political tree, political family tree, Rotimi Amechi political family tree, and Peter Odili political family tree. But funnily enough, the Peter Odili political family tree is actually the one that bettered the last 2 I mentioned. There wouldn't have been a Rotimi Amechi without a Peter Odili. And there wouldn't have been a wike without a Rotimi Amechi. But for whatever reasons, they've decided to stand differently, being that wike have decided to lay claim of a political tree that is, according to him, is more superior than every other political tree, insisting that he has a structure and no one should destroy it. Now, even wike, if you have known the history of politics in Rivers State, you agree with me that wike at some point even mentioned that the day he will ever insult or bring tears to Peter Odili, lest something sinister and evil happens to him. Now, the wife of Peter wike is a judge. And most often than not, many people insinuated, even Wike at some point, there's a video, he had to openly call Mary Odili his mother, who without which the wife wouldn't have been a judge, wouldn't have even found her way to where she is today. That she wants to appreciate the wife of Peter Odili, which is Mary Odili. Everybody know who Mary Odili is. She's a very powerful person when it comes to the Supreme Court, but though she's retired now. Now, the daughter of Peter Odili and Mary Odili is the Commissioner of Health. She's actually there seated. You can see, very beautiful lady. Married though. Now, whether we like it or not, when they were dissolving commissioners and those who were not screened via Martin Samuel-Hele, the 2 people who are, or the 3 people who are very prominent, who still stood, names not changed and cabinet not dissolved, still remains Edison Ehi, and then Mary Odili and Peter Odili's daughter, and Danagogo, Tammy Danagogo. These 3 are still standing, was and still is in Fubara's cabinet. Now, the daughter of Peter Odili and Mary Odili is still very much there. Now, Mary Odili and the wife of Fubara are still standing tall. One would expect, this is just me talking now, one would expect that being that there's a political tree now, quote and unquote, that Fubara belongs to, it should be the wife of Wike that should be standing beside Valeria, but that's not it. What you're seeing there is, who you are seeing there is Mary Odili, to tell you that the political tree of Peter Odili with Fubara is still standing strong, regardless of the picture you saw some few days back, some weeks ago. So it's as if, technically speaking, Fubara is playing. Fubara is comfortable, is at home with Peter Odili, Mary Odili, regardless of what had happened some weeks, months back. But his political godfather still remains Wike. Anytime Wike needs him, he goes. But anytime he's talking about family, you notice that Valeria is much more comfortable with Peter Odili, Mary Odili's family. And there's this hush-hush tone being mentioned some few days back, or some few weeks ago, before the resumption of Fubara, that Valeria had met with the First Lady, and they talked, on a closed-door meeting. Whatever it is, we do not know. But now she's representing Remi Tinubu, though she couldn't make it there personally, but she's representing Remi Tinubu in this empowerment program, which means they have full access to the government, the Aso Rock. So to a great extent, this thing that sounded as if was for terrible for Fubara ended up working together, technically speaking, politically speaking, for good for Fubara. Before now, Fubara didn't have direct access to Mr. President. The wife of Fubara never had direct access to Remi Tinubu, Senator Remi Tinubu. Not because they don't, because they're actually sitting governors, they actually have executive meeting, but they didn't have this close affinity. Because why? The person they know, or the person that introduced them to the president, was actually Nyesom Wike. But now, after that whole fight, he needed to go and see Mr. President one-on-one without the interference of both Peter Odili and Nyesom Wike. And whatever it is that was discussed has given Fubara an edge. Now, whatever it is that, before now you see some of these people shouting, Momo governor, the other one had to put Fubara's portrait on the ground. That has been corrected. As you speak now, Fubara's portrait is on the walls of the local government areas. Before now, it wasn't so. Just fairly recently, we saw Chidi Lloyd bowing down to greet and shake the hands of Fubara. That was some months ago he called a goat. You just notice that things are falling into place. Now, literally speaking, if my political Oga, be no gree, we try to say one or two things, he will just quietly go and meet Mr. President quietly and table the matter. So that now, don't forget that Nyesom Wike here is still answerable. In fact, it's directly answerable to Mr. President. So everything that doesn't sit well with Fubara, he now has an open door, someone that is definitely higher than Wike, that can, play ball. But he will know that now, with this now, Fubara may likely, this is just me talking, may likely, if he plays his card well, he may likely come out for 2027. But it's too early to predict. That's why we're going to wrap it up. Let's visit our conversation.